Make sure it's in the overlay. Yeah. Always back down. Come on, Mike. You gotta just stay strong, man. You gotta just put it out of your mind. Go with your read. Alright, so this is a 9-man... Is it a turbo? Must be a turbo. 9-man turbo, $7 game from Ontebus. And we're going to review this game for him. See if we can find any leaks. So I'm just going to look at his play. I'm not going to look at what the other players are doing because it just wastes time. Okay, good so far. Okay, let's play this. Alright. There are two ways you can play this hand. This is the first way. You can 3-bet the raiser. Now, there is a problem with this. If he decides to put in another bet pre-flop and 4-bets you, your ace-jack all of a sudden is very bad. Because people don't 4-bet in this situation with something like ace-10. So, by doing this, you're trying to get him to just flat call pre-flop with worse hands and then get more value that way. Or you just want him to fold. Now the other problem with doing this 3-bet is that if he has a hand here like an ace-9, ace-8 offsuit or a king-jack or something, you kind of want him to get to see flops with those hands because you'd crush those hands so hard that if he does flop a pair and you have him out kicked, you're going to get a lot of value. So the 3-bet, it's fine because you should have the best hand, but you do get into problems with this, losing value against worse hands, and also if he's a weird player and he decides to put in another bluff with a worse hand, do you really want to go all in here with ace-jack? I don't think so. So when you make this 3-bet, your plan is it's a bluff, because if he puts in another bet, you should be folding, but then why are you bluffing with a hand this strong? So how I would play this is just flat call on the button and then see a flop that way. You keep in worse hands like Jack 10, Queen Jack, King Jack, Ace 5, Ace 4. Those hands don't fold. You get to see a flop with them and you dominate them. And you don't give him the chance to re-bluff you with some kind of crazy hand. And you don't want to go all in here, so I would just flat call. Well, now a cold 4-bet is called a cold 4-bet when someone else puts in the 4th bet. You just have to fold here. So the 3-bet's not necessarily a mistake. It's just I think you're losing a little bit of value playing it that way. Okay, Ace 10's fine here. Is that a call on the bubble? Yes, it is, ontebus. The King 8 suited there. It's a strong call. I agree with his call. I'm a bit sad to see that he made that call, because most people would not call that loose, but I agree with it. I think it's fine. Okay, good call here. We're getting very good pot odds, 4-1, so suited king is fine. Great flop. Let's just check. Alright, so you can check raise, but what are you really trying to do by check raising? If he's got another king, he's getting it in regardless. So I would just check call to let him maybe hit something on the turn. Like if he's doing this with an ace queen, maybe he'll hit an ace on the turn or a queen. And yeah, so I just check call and string him along. Well done. Check, check. Okay, now you have to value bet. I would bet. The reason why you value bet here is you want him to call river with a 5 or something like pocket 8s, pocket 9s. If you check to him, he might bluff at it, but I think it's more likely that he'll call you here with a showdown value hand. So I would bet here maybe half the pot. Yeah. He wasn't really calling you anyway, but maybe he would have. I still think checking there's losing a bit of value. Okay. Okay. The fold here is fine. I mean, you could call and play out of position. Someone's at my door. Hang on. Alright, sorry guys, someone delivered a package. I'm back now. Alright, you could flat call here, because ace-9 should be okay against a button range. But folding is fine, because you have to play it out of position, and if you're not comfortable playing hands out of position, then the weak ace is very hard to play. So that's not a mistake. Okay. Alright, so we have a limper, and you're in the cutoff. Isolating the king-9 suited, I think is a little too loose. Your hand is alright, but it's not great. You know, think about the hands that people limp. He could certainly have a better hand than you. He could have king 10, king jack, king queen. A lot of people limp those kind of hands. So, and even ace 9 he might be limping. I don't think your raise here is that great. Because when you make an isolation raise like this, you need to be doing it for value at the low stakes. So you need to have a pure value hand, or maybe you have direct position on the button and there are very tight players behind you. But here you've got 3 players behind you, you're not guaranteed position because the button could call, and your hand is definitely not doing fantastic against the limping range. Like, it might be good, but it might not be good. So I would just fold there with the suited king. When people do this limp call and then lead out, it's usually a value hand that they're scared of seeing the next turn card. So I would put him on a jack or maybe a 10. He could even have a set here, like a set of 5s. So you just can't really do much. I would just fold. Yep. I don't like the isolation though. Now this is obviously much better because you're doing it for value. I think your bet size is a little too small. Because when it folds round to him, look at the pot odds you're giving him 3-1. Now you want him to call, but you want to maybe charge him a little bit more. I would bet, my recommendation to you guys is 3 times the blind, plus 1 big blind for every limper. So here you do 150 plus an extra 50, make it 200. Okay, now we need to value bet this. Pretty wet board, lots of draws. So I would bet maybe 250, 300, 275, perfect. Alright, good. Fold, fold. Okay, call, defend. It's fine. Flush draw is okay. We're getting the correct odds, but there's one player behind us. I think it's worth calling, because if we do hit our flush, this guy's range is going to have a lot of aces in them, and we should get value. So I like the call there, and we have position on him, so maybe we can possibly bluff him off. Now we miss the turn and he's betting again. We don't really have the correct odds to continue calling just to hit a flush, and the board paired. So even if we hit the flush, we could still be behind. He could have the a7 or the pocket 3s and have a full house, and we are screwed. So I would just fold here. When deep, you mean raising 3 times the big blind and an extra 1 big blind? Yeah. If you're a bit shorter, you can lower that bet size to maybe yeah, if you're a bit shorter, you can lower that bet size to maybe 2.5 times the big blind. Okay. Alright, so this one's good. We're getting good pot odds. The bet size is small, so I don't mind calling the small blind here with a suited ace. Getting 3.7 to 1. Pretty good flop. Flush draw is always good. Check, check, check. Now I would value bet. Make it 200 maybe. 240, that's fine. I'd bet here. I think I'd bet quite big as well. Because if he has a club, he's probably calling. Like, the queen of clubs is never folding here. Even the jack of clubs is probably never folding. So I'd bet... Sorry, Gabe's out of his house now and he's eating newspaper. I'd bet maybe almost the full pot. Like 800, 700, trying to get max value. All in's fine. I like it, yeah. I like it. Well done, man. Just what I said, the jack of clubs is never folding. So yeah, I like your bet size. I agree with the large size. I thought that shoving was a bit greedy, but it worked out for you, so well done. Yeah, played that very well. Okay, raise, good. Raise, good. Fold, fold. Okay, fold to us. Nah, this is too weak. Whenever you're blind versus blind, you want to be trying to win the pot if you can. So I would never fold this. I would either raise or limp. So raise if he's a tight player, and limp if he's maybe a little bit splashy, or you're not sure how he's going to react. So I would never fold this. Especially because you have the chip lead. Look at how many chips you have. You want to put pressure on these shorter guys. Okay, fold that. Ace queen, that's good. Fold that. Jack 5, ace 8, good fold. Tens, alright. Snap call, well done. Pocket 8s, yep, good raise. Good call. Maybe you timed out. Yeah, it's possible, man. Sent it. Alright, let me check my email, Mikey. It hasn't come through yet. Just double check that you sent it to the right email, but I'll refresh again in a little bit. Alright, we split that. Bad luck. Fold. Ooh. Great fold. 2 all-ins in early position. I would... Ace Queen I would definitely fold. I'm wondering if Ace King, if I would even go with that. I think Ace King's too strong. This guy's shoving like 13 big blinds, so you have to think, if he had aces, why would he shove this much? He'd just min-raise, so he doesn't really have aces or kings in his range. It's probably something like an ace-jack, ace-10, ace-queen kind of hand. So if we have ace-king, we just crush him. And yeah, this guy has a strong range as well. But yeah, I think ace-king I would go with here, but not ace-jack. Alright, Mikey, it came through. I'll check it out after this game. What pairs? Tens. Ontebus. Ace King pocket tens. Oh, wait, tens? Nines are definitely a fold. Let's think about tens. Maybe just jacks. I don't know. Tens are close. I don't know. I think it really depends on what this guy does with a hand like eights. If he goes all in here with eights, then tens are a shove. But if he folds eights and his range is only nines or tens plus, then our range should only be jacks plus. I hope that makes sense. So probably ace king and then either tens or jacks depending on how tight this guy is. I'm not worried about him at all, because like I said before, he never really has aces or kings, so his hand is more like maybe pocket sevens, pocket eights, and you know, ace 10, ace jack kind of range. Okay, fold that. This is a little loose, but I'll allow it because you're the big chip leader. Okay, let's call that. There's no side pot, so there's not really much point in trying to win this against this guy. Alright, fold. Yep. It's fine. He was a big fish. Alright, man. Definitely go with tens then. Tens plus ace king. Fold that. Okay, 6-7 on the button. That's fold. Suited ace. Let's raise that. You're playing very, very well. Ontebus, very well. Raise, 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 raise. This guy is limping the small blind. Very weak play, and you have him covered. So he's gonna want to play very cautiously against you. So I would raise here, make it at least 3 times the big blind, and if he decides to call you, you can c-bet. I'm sorry to tell you this, but from experience I could see it. I think he may be Australian. It's curable. Look for help. Wascally Wabbit. Welcome to the chat, man. I will look for a cure. I haven't found one yet. Yeah, you played this really weak. Really weak. You don't want to let people with less chips than you run over you, and he's running over you in this spot. Like, and even Queen's hand off, that's a top 25% hand, and all you did was check and then fold a flop. Just too weak. Okay, it's fine. He's full of shit. I would never fold this. This is so full of shit. Let's just call. It's a bluff, right? So we have the best unpaired hand. So we're well ahead of his range. Do I know anything about NLO high-low sit and goes? Sorry, Wesley Wabbit. No fucking idea. Alright, so we called. Well done. Do we bet here? Or do we just check and then try and bluff catch the river? If he has a 10, he's never folding. Same thing with a queen. I mean, I don't think he has a queen, but the only question for betting here was if he somehow has a 6, he might fold a 6 by betting. But I think it's better just to check. We have the 2 overs and the Broadway draw. So if he does happen to have a 6, we can decide whether to bluff the river, trying to get him to fold a 6, or we can hit our hand, or we can just have the best hand with ace king high. From the Sutherlandshire, where am I from? Southwest Sydney, Adrian. Southwest. Welcome to the stream, man. Good check. Good river. Let's value bet. I think quite small, because, you know, he never really has a queen here. So the hand that maybe might call you is a jack or a 6, and a jack isn't going to call if you bet big. So I would bet less than half pot, maybe 600. Okay. That's it's pretty small, but you have the right idea. Yep, 6. Campbelltown. Yeah, near Campbelltown, man. Well done, ontebus. You played that really, really well. Alright, guys. Only a few more hands. Good. 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 So, oh, the bubble's over. We're in the money. That's easy. Let's put pressure on this guy. Let's raise, or let's limp. Let's do something. Well done. Good raise. I would steal this. Well done. Alright, c-bet. Half pot. Good. Alright. Alright, buddy. We got nothing. Queen high. You can have it. Yep. Well done. Let's defend this. Alright, 2 things you can do. You can just push all in, because the pot's 875, and you're only risking 4,000. So, what's that? You're risking around 20% risk-reward ratio, which is very good. Now, the other thing you can do is just call and then see a flop, play in position. I would probably prefer just to call until I get a bit of a better read on his range and whether he's going to fold pre-flop, because a lot of people make this 3 times raise with a hand that they like, and they're going to want to go all in. So even if he has something like ace-5, he might just not fold, which is very bad for us. So against maybe tight aggressive players, I would push all in pre-flop, but against loose aggressive players, I just flat call. It depends. Both options are fine, so the way you play this is not a mistake. Winning flips is always fun. Okay, heads up strategy, min raise every single button.